with Colin Kaepernick's stance on it? How do you feel about the governor of Arizona trying to bully a corporation?
A mega corporation. People go watch people having sex. I mean, that's a different subject. But the whole sex thing, it's like every creature on earth does it.
School, we had sexual education, and they had like generic videos that they would show us. You know, they'd split us up, girls and guys.
Yeah, the only video that I actually hear legally.
Exactly.
Then it creates
who
this.
Don't have a job, who can't find work, who have 3, 4, 5 kids. That's it. Just pulls money from somewhere that we don't have enough money to begin with.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to Two Couch Talk, episode number 10.
Number
Welcome
10,
back.
ladies and
Welcome
gentlemen.
We made it.
We made
All
it.
right.
2.5 months of consistently uploading these episodes.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Absolutely.
Shout out to all the originals, day oneers. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we'll remember you when we're famous.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate that. We'll shout you out in the very last episode if it ever comes. Down to
Exactly.
it.
You won't get any monetary value out of it, but you'll just get the satisfaction of knowing you were there.
Yeah.
Probably feel really good.
Exactly.
Really good.
Yeah.
It's deep down inside, a little warm spot right here.
Exactly. All right. So for episode 10, we'll just quickly recap the rules real quick. So we get we have topics that we talk about for 10 minutes each. We each can have 5 minutes that we use on one topic throughout the whole episode, if we want to further the discussion. And we're going to have a couple different topics, some just lighthearted, whatever we want to talk about, and then others that are controversial.
Absolutely.
And that spark debate. I have two very opposing sides. So that's the whole point of the show. We don't tell each other our topics before, so these are genuine reactions of
we're just getting getting hit with it in the moment.
In the moment. So our reaction's 100%
no
genuine.
Preparations.
Yeah, what you guys see is what you get.
Exactly. So without further ado, we'll get started. I'm your host today, Jared Mannche. With me is my co-host, Eli Gavinci Raw.
Hey.
And then we have our permanent guest, Alex Busta.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
And I think that's it for introductions.
Yeah, let's get this popping.
We have the ghost up there in the corner.
Yeah.
His name is Bob.
Yeah, we don't talk to Bob. He gives us dirty looks whenever we talk about him.
Exactly.
So shh.
He's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, now the girl's that dirty look.
That's gonna get you in trouble.
That's it. You had to say something about Bob.
Well, I'm haunted now.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, good luck, buddy.
Good luck with that.
All right. So I'm gonna start today with my topic.
Yep.
We're gonna start off controversial. We're gonna get things, rolling here.
All right.
And my topic is going to be: should illegal immigrants be treated as criminals?
Just treat it as criminals. Wow. Okay. 10 minutes starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, are you guys ready for this? We just got a little muddy right now. And
a little muddy.
A little muddy. And without a doubt, we'd really, really like you guys to be involved with this conversation, because this one's a really big one, and it's a really, really big one. That's no other way to put it. It's a touchy one. So, Jared, would you like to start us?
Yeah. So, I mean, my first reaction, without thinking too much about it, is yes, because they're illegal. If you rob a store, you're treated as a criminal.
Yeah.
If you cross over the border illegally, you're a criminal. You did something wrong. So it's that's my first reaction. But then my second reaction is there's motives behind it. They're like, oh, this place sucks, so I want to go to this place so I can have a better life for my family.
Yeah.
And we can't find jobs here, and they don't pay enough, so we're going here because we can get work. And we know that there's people like corporations out there that will hire us even though we don't
technically
have a social security number or anything like that. So I understand it from like a human standpoint, like the compassionate side of me is like, oh well, yeah, I totally get that, like if I was in the same situation, I'd probably try and do the same thing.
Yeah, just people just trying to better themselves.
Exactly. But then like the I don't know, like the factual side of me is like, well, I mean, that's great and all, but you have to do it the right way, the right steps and everything. And then people are like, okay, but the entrance into the U.S. to get citizenship is like very long and very time consuming
and expensive and all that
stuff like that. So it's not worth that effort if I can just, if I can get there, say have a kid, and that kid is legal, even though I'm not. So it doesn't matter what happens to me as long as my kid is good.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I'm like on the fence.
Because it creates a moral dilemma in a way.
Absolutely.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to be like, well, yes, they should be treated like criminals, but you can't treat them like criminals because of these reasons. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's like I don't want anybody to be hurt, or go into like those detention centers or be treated poorly or anything like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I get
the circumstances of what the law.
Like I get why we have the laws in place and why I don't know necessarily the actions we're taking now are the best ones.
Yeah.
But I understand why certain actions are taken against those people.
Yeah, that's true. And like when you're talking about understanding the logic behind it, and the legalities of it, like if we were playing a board game where something like this happened, it'd be really easy to say, nope, lock them up.
Yeah.
But in that instance, it is due to the fact that they're board game pieces in that scenario. They don't have humanity. They don't
exactly.
When you add the human element into it, it makes it a lot more difficult because you're talking about real families, real people who are in really hard times, and they are trying to find a better life for themselves. That's a really good question, man, because there's not a clean cut answer for it. I mean, obviously we as a nation to stay safe and also to not get I guess overcrowded, we can't just be like, everybody come on over, don't worry about it, just the nearest port that you see on the side of the United States, just come on in, and we'll take everybody who wants to come. I mean, it sounds nice. It sounds nice on paper, but if we start doing something like that, then we can't keep track of who's in our country, what people's intentions are. Are they coming over here to work, to be educated, or is it to kind of prop themselves up on social programs like welfare, EBT, that kind of stuff? It's really hard to say.
Not to say that doesn't already exist in America, where there's Americans who are doing that.
Oh,
I mean, to play on the other side of the fence. But I get where you guys are coming from as far as like people who are intentionally coming over here for that specific avenue instead of coming over here to actually work or try to be productive or to be a contributing person in society.
Yeah. When you say like those programs like welfare and food stamps and stuff like that, those were put in place for Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That are struggling. Yeah. Those.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some that obviously don't really need it, and somehow they manage to manipulate the system and get away from it. Get away with it.
That's a different discussion of the system being all like jacked up and not working as intended. But those things were put in place because the government was like, hey, some Americans do need help, so we're going to help them. But then the people who we don't we don't like have enough money to give every single person. So that's why it was made like for the Americans, because we are like, okay, there's X amount of people, that need or that are in this group that are like, okay, we can help them. Yeah, that's within the budget. But then it's like when you add in people from all over who
are not actually here legally,
exactly,
then it creates
who don't have a job, who can't find work, who have 3, 4, 5 kids. That's it just pulls money from somewhere that we don't have enough money to begin with.
Yeah, when it should have been actually going to these families who actually do need help.
Yeah.
So
right, and I do think it's crazy for people to not understand that, like, this is a crisis at our border. Now, whatever you frame that crisis to mean in your mind is your own opinion. Some people are calling it the crisis because people are getting in, and a lot of people don't want any more people in here in the country, and so they're like, well, why is it our business to take all these people? There's a crisis because too many are actually getting in. And then on the other side, you have people who are saying this is a crisis. These people came in, and now it's a humanitarian crisis of the conditions that they're being kept in and things like that. And a lot of folks on the other side are saying, well, why don't they just go back home? And it's I feel like for a person to accept the conditions that these people are currently living in right now in these detention centers and things like that, maybe not enough people are thinking about how bad it must have been, what they came from to live in these situations currently.
To be willing to risk it all, even life, just so that way they don't have to live in those situations no more.
Right. Yeah. And they're living in these conditions currently in these detention centers, and evidently it's better than what they came from. I'm not 100% sure, but
yeah,
there's no good answer.
No,
because I'm a person. Obviously I love people. I love people from wherever they come from and things like that. And we know that as a good person, you want to try and help people, but on the other side of the coin, we also, we as a country can't overextend ourselves beyond our means. We do have, one thing that a lot of people are saying is like, well, what about our homeless vets? And what about veterans that need better mental health care? And, they're from our country, fought for our country. They deserve this attention before we give it to anybody who's not from here. And I can't say that I totally disagree with that, because we do need to take care of our veterans. We do need to make sure that they have, the health benefits and mental health support systems in place that they should. It's just almost like there's too many people who need help, and what we're quarreling with is the question of who to help first.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was 10 minutes.
That was a fast 10 minutes.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
All right. Anybody want to use their 5 minutes?
Nah,
I'm good.
All right. So first one was immigration.
Should illegal immigrants be treated like criminals?
So the truth be told, it's on the fence. What do you guys think about it?
It's hard.
Is a yes and a no? There's no, don't get me wrong. A bad person's a bad person, but a good person's a good person. And you can't punish someone just because of where they're from. That's what made this country what it is. But with that being said, we would love for you to hear from you guys. We all think the audience here is going to be a great audience. The people who watch us do feel like they're intelligent enough to actually create a logical thought in their own head. So please comment below, whether it's negative or positive. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Comment, subscribe.
I genuinely feel like we could have filled up an entire show with that one.
Just that one topic.
question.
Guarantee we could.
I didn't want to use my 5, but I seriously feel like that could have been an entire show.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're going to move on to Alex Busta's
What's up, everybody?
for the day.
All right, so my topic for today is gonna be kind of national, kind of local. It hits on both fronts, so it's cool. It's gonna be the Nike, Colin Kaepernick, Doug Ducey debacle.
All right. Let's get patriotic, ladies and gentlemen. So 10 minutes starts now.
All right, so in case anybody doesn't know, Nike was coming out with a new line of shoes that featured the Betsy Ross flag as the first flag of our nation on the backs, just, right on the heel there.
Yeah, the circular stars.
Yeah,
the 13 colonies.
Exactly. Now, I know of that flag as being the first flag of our nation. When I think of it, that's what I think about.
Absolutely.
So Nike is developing these shoes. Colin Kaepernick has an issue with it, stating that he doesn't like the symbolism of that flag being on a shoe, basically stating that it's a tie to when slavery was more rampant in America, and it holds that connotation. I'm not sure if I 100% agree, but then again, that's not the whole thing. So we're supposed to be getting a Nike factory built out in Goodyear, Arizona. Supposed to be raise about 500 jobs, and would be a big boost for the city's economy and probably the state economy as well. Doug Ducey on July 2nd. Doug Ducey is the governor of Arizona, for those of you who don't know. Came out with in a press release and basically stated that he was going to take away all these incentives from Nike for their factory that they were going to open in Goodyear because they're pulling this shoe. He's stating that it's unpatriotic to not be able for them to not produce this shoe that has an American logo on it.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
Now here's the icing on the cake, which I just kind of slapped my forehead. 2 days later, at a 4th of July event, wherever he's at, Doug Ducey gets a photo snapped of him sporting his Nikes. So that's just kind of embarrassing. But the real thing I want to talk about is the whole all of that in general. Do you agree with this shoe being pulled? Do you agree with Colin Kaepernick's stance on it? How do you feel about the governor of Arizona trying to bully a corporation,
a mega corporation, yeah,
for what he would call lack of patriotism in not making a shoe with this logo on it?
See, like, the biggest thing, because without a doubt, we're creatives. Right here on the show, we create this show for you guys for entertainment, and plus, we feel that you guys are part of it. You guys are literally part of it. Anyone who's seen this right now or hearing us, you guys are part of the show. So without a doubt, it's kind of a creative, general mind theme. And our concept of thought is if there's something that we feel is not good enough for you guys, we're going to pull it. And because it's just like, you know what? This wasn't right. This wasn't good. So we should be allowed to pull our creation away. Just like Nike was creating this product. Okay, yeah, this one particular person said they felt some way about it, and they're like, okay, maybe we should pull it. But it was still their product to do so, not no one else's.
Yeah.
And to sit there and state that, that's basically like twisting the situation just so that way it's like, you know what? I'm going to twist it so that way it seems like you guys are this, so that way I could get my way. It's like a little baby throwing a fit or a little kid throwing a fit. So it's just like you don't give in to the little kid because then that means they won.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I would think that this is like just an arrogant thought. But I just thought of something. But anyways, I'm not gonna say that on camera.
Okay.
But that's what would be my thought on it. It's just like the little kid throwing a fit. You just ignore it and go on with your day. I understand where Colin Kaepernick is coming from. It was during the time period where slavery was, and this is not the representation of slavery, and I'm sure that's not where Nike is going with it. But let's be honest, a good percentage of people who buy shoes are people who are ethnic and people who are, just basically humans in general. So it's like, if you have more people, like they should have put out a little poll. What would you guys think about this shoe? Yes, would you buy it? No, you wouldn't. And if the general consensus was no, I would not buy it. I feel like it's this. Okay, pull the damn shoe. But if it wasn't like this and everyone's like, hell yeah, I'd buy it, then there's no reason for you not to, there's no reason to keep it on. Why not keep it on the market?
Okay.
So what was
so right now, I've been thinking about this for like the past few days. So I think Colin Kaepernick is a very big figure in terms of like I don't know, kind of like going against the grain. He starts a lot of things, and then people follow him. He's a leader. People look to his opinions and are like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll follow. Yeah, that sounds good. So I feel like, I mean, anybody can have their opinions about like any kind of shoe,
without a doubt.
but calling it, like being like, hey, you know, I don't like that shoe because it represents this time back then. It's like, it doesn't, that flag, we're not talking about not like a Confederate flag or something.
No,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, which
Right.
literally was hinted toward that.
Yeah.
Right.
So my problem is that that flag has no other meaning besides being the first 13 colonies unless you give it that meaning.
True.
Unless you give it that power,
That stigma, yeah.
that stigma to represent this thing, it doesn't.
I kind of, and I'd have to agree with that, because when I was kind of reading a little bit on this whole thing, I thought it was funny that, you know, I looked at the flag and I'm like, that's the flag they're talking about, because I didn't necessarily, when I see that flag, I see the first flag of our country.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see it tied to the issue of slavery, even though I'm not trying to not deny one bit that slavery was a huge issue.
Oh, absolutely.
At
Yeah,
the time.
it existed, yeah.
But it doesn't, that particular flag just doesn't necessarily have that meaning to me. I understand, you know, what Colin Kaepernick is doing, but I think if you're in a position where you have the ability to have a larger voice than people of the general populace, and you are going to use that voice to state an opinion that you know is going to be unpopular, or that a lot of people will be upset, but you still feel that it needs to be said, you have to understand that from that point on, people are going to have their eyes on you and are going to be looking for things to scrutinize. And I think that means you need to pick your battles very carefully. I don't think that this was necessarily a well-picked battle for Colin Kaepernick, because, again, I understand how everything formed in his mind, that, you know, slavery was going on when this flag was sewn together, and he as a person sees the two tied together and wants to use that platform that he's already used before to state it. So I understand how everything came together in his head. What I don't think he did was think about how serious or not serious of a thing that this could end up becoming. And the backlash, if you are in that position, you don't pick your battles, is you're gonna start losing credibility. And if you're using your platform to voice unpopular opinions, credibility is a very important thing. It's like a handyman not having a Phillips head. You can't do your job without credibility, because that platform will not matter anymore. People will just start, whatever. And that's not to say that I agree with everything that he says. I don't think, but again, I don't think that this was the right fight to pick. If anything, I would say, well, Nike probably shouldn't make that shoe because of the U.S. flag code, which is a law that states that the flag's not supposed to be put on clothing, shoes, all kinds of things, because of what it symbolizes. It's not necessarily supposed to be used as a marketed thing, but so many places do it now.
Oh, yeah. Like, and they don't get trouble for it at all. I mean, unless they do, and we're not aware of it. But you would think that they would, especially when 4th of July happens. I mean, how many people did you see walking around with, you know, the flag and shorts, and the shirt was a flag, and it just like literally matched their whole entire outfit?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd have to agree with Alex on this one, where he definitely didn't pick his battles well. I think it wasn't as serious as he made it out to be. And like I said before, that flag doesn't mean slavery, or doesn't mean that they're racist.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's trying to put a blanket over it and be like, "Hey, look at this thing," and then
that's it.
And I don't agree with it. There's my. I don't agree with it.
Your 2 cents.
I just felt like the whole thing was like, really? Are we doing this?
Is this really the most important thing right now?
Yeah, with everything.
It's a shoe.
With everything going on with the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Kaepernick using his voice to stop the shoe, and then Governor Doug Ducey not allowing the company potentially to come into Arizona to build jobs due to this. Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about that? That's a very, very, very strong one. We really appreciate you guys to even
absolutely
put a little comment in there, or even a little thought into it, and let us know. We really appreciate that. So like, comment, subscribe, turn on the little notification bell. That helps us grow with you guys, and we all grow together. It means we have a community together where we can all discuss things, which is what we ultimately want. Yeah, so would you gentlemen like to use your 5?
No, I'm gonna pass on it. I'm gonna pass.
All right.
So we're that's done with Alex Bustas. We're gonna move on to Eli Gavinci Raw.
Hey.
And what would be your topic of the day, sir?
All right. So this one might ruffle some feathers, but let's talk about it. That's the whole point of the show. Let's talk about sex.
Baby,
sex.
Let's talk about you and me.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
About all the good things and the bad things that. Let's talk about sex.
All right. So 10 minutes starts now, and the general consensus of what I want to talk about was, why is it such a stigma to talk about sex? I mean, everyone does it. There's music songs where it says everyone does it. So it's like, why not let's talk about it? Especially with these things being existent. And that's why I said it jokingly, earlier with you guys, was kind of like, oh, let's talk about Pornhub. It's literally on the internet for free. People could watch people having sex. I mean, that's a different subject. But the whole sex thing, it's like, every creature on earth does it. That's how we reproduce. That's literally what a normal human being is kind of designed to do.
Well, some creatures do it by themselves. Because they're
asexual.
Yeah, because they just they just reproduce with themselves. But sorry, I was just playing devil's advocate there. So like, okay, I'm kind of confused here. So like, what's your question?
What was my question?
Yeah, what's like?
Why is there such a stigma to talk about it? And
a bad one, or like a bad stigma?
Well, good or bad, however you want to turn it. It's up to you.
Well, I mean, I think that it's always been stigmatized to talk about anything that people would do behind closed doors. I mean,
I agree with that.
There's a reason you close the door, and you don't see necessarily heroin addicts running around and telling people, "Hey, what up, man? I'm addicted to heroin."
Yeah, I'm a heroin addict.
I mean, probably for a great many reasons, but I definitely agree. There is still a stigma of it, but consider what it is, how relatively small that stigma is now compared to say the 50s.
Yeah.
The 40, not even 100 years ago in our own country. Because oftentimes back then, talking about sexual activity and things like that was considered lewd, or not necessarily immoral, but just not table talk, not dinner conversation.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because there's a lot of different ways to talk about sex.
Yeah. There's appropriate ways and obviously negative.
Well, there are some people who talk about sex to brag about all the partners that they've had. There's some people who talk about sex to...
Stop looking over here.
There's some people who talk about sex to, rumorize it or make false claims about it. And then there are people who talk about sex because they are curious and they need information, and they not every person's going to go to the library and check out Sex for Dummies or something like that. They want to talk to somebody who they're comfortable with and who they value their opinion and value their input, because they know that they're going to get the best information geared towards them and their well-being as possible. So I think the reason why has a lot to do with it too.
So let me do a little twist on this. How do you guys feel about the younger society growing up now with internet widely available and sexual acts being widely available on it for free, and anyone and any person could look it up, and especially like that, you could do it behind private doors. You go into the restroom and you could look up sexual acts and et cetera, et cetera. So like we're talking this, just say 11-year-old happens to accidentally type something into Google, takes him to the wrong website, and then now he's seeing something that he may or he and or she may not know what that is because they never talked about it with their parents, but it's so widely available on the internet. It's like, what is this? Plus, there's a difference between just like having sexual, like you were just saying, Alex, like sexual pleasure for pleasure, and then sexual relations with your significant other because you're in love with them. And there's different types of ways to look at it. And so this makes you like curious, like what do you guys feel about that? Like with the little kid who, like you said, just isn't really quite in tune with it, and then sees all these acts. Plus, when you go to school, especially public school, there's tons of kids who are like bragging about how they saw that, this on the internet, or they talk about it, already know about where the birds and bees and all that good stuff is. And then there's this young kid who's just like, I don't know what that is. Like, what are you guys talking about? And then now they're the laughing stock or the joke at school because they don't know about it. And then now they're in a situation where they want to go talk to their parents, but then they feel uncomfortable about it because it's like mom and dad are uncool and all that stuff.
I think, I think like, like sex isn't as big of a topic as it was back then, like you said before.
Yeah, and we agree to that 100%.
And like I don't like, so I went to Starbucks before I came here.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the girl that was at the window, and I wasn't gonna be like, hey, have you had sex recently?
You look like you've had sex recently.
Yeah,
have you?
like you need something, or like you wanna hop in? We can go back to my place tonight. But like to my friends or something, like to you guys, I'd be like, hey dude, I just like hooked up with this girl last night,
Yeah.
Like, so I think there's a stigma where you just don't talk about it, like in not even in public, because I see people
just like in your social circles.
Yeah. Like with
Sure.
your group of friends, but just not to like strangers or something like that. Like,
Because you're right, because without a doubt, what it means to a guy versus a woman, male to a female, is completely different.
Yeah.
Like a woman could go have casual sex and feel some kind of way about it, whereas a man could have casual sex and then feel like, yeah, he almost like conquered something, which is kind of like, don't do that to a person. That's messed up. But I mean, I'm 100% guilty of it. If there's some females out there probably watching right now flipping off the screen for me saying that, but it's true. I'm guilty of it. I was proud that, I messed around with this girl, etc. But, I've grown from it and realized, like, what, this is something powerful to a woman than to a man, where he just feels like he conquered something. And I get that now as an adult, which I apologize seriously, like, seriously sorry for being that arrogant to think like that. But that also kind of creates too, because I was never actually talked about by my parents with sex. That was never a discussion. It was just like TV, and then later on the internet and all that stuff's what more or less how I figured it out. And then actually having it and then learning it from that, social steps, and like actually doing the experience of it.
Right.
Did you not have sexual education in school?
No. Believe it or not, that was when the sex education wasn't quite in schools yet.
Dang. Okay.
No, see,
So
we're
you
the
are-
same age, and I had it in mind.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, you're
Wow,
lucky.
so
I
your-
didn't.
so
I did
your
not have it in
school
mind.
was-
No.
So basically, your school was shit.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that
I'm not gonna say what
happens.
school it is because I'm sure that they'll rain hellfire on us.
It
so
doesn't
I'm not
matter.
gonna say
It's
which
Arizona. We know where we stand in the old
Yeah, that's
education
true.
one.
thing.
Hey.
That's true. Number like 48 or something like that.
Yep.
Out of 50. But like when I was in school, like when I was in middle school, we had sexual education, and they had like generic videos that they would show us. You know, they'd split us up, girls and guys.
Yeah, the only video that I ever got to see was the pregnancy when they actually had the baby, and that was it.
So, like, they talked about, you know, like puberty and a bunch of stuff for the guys, and the girls had their own video. And then we actually swapped, and the girls watched the guys' video, and the guys watched the girls' video. So that way, we were educated on, like, everything. Right. We weren't like, oh, well, aren't girls the exact same? Like, no. Sure. I promise they're not the same. But that was very helpful because it put everybody on a level playing field where it's like everybody knows everything that goes on.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody was, except for because you had to get a parent to sign off on it.
Yeah.
So unless like your parent didn't sign off on it, which is bad parenting.
Shout out to all those parents. I mean, I was gonna say I know where Alex is gonna go, so go ahead, Alex.
Not necessarily. If they wanted to have their own talk, and do it there.
Okay, exactly. I feel that. But if they feel like I don't know, man. Different topic. Never mind. But like that was very helpful for me because like watching the guys' video, I was like, okay, yeah, I knew most of that stuff. You know, they live it every day.
Yeah.
So you're pretty familiar. But then the girls, I was like completely clueless on. Like had no idea at all.
You're like, whoa, I need to know this stuff.
Yeah, and you were like, and then I was like, oh, well, if I ever have a girlfriend, like I'm glad I know that because I'll stay away from her for like 3 days and then we'll be good.
But I mean,
period.
I feel like it all comes down to information and just where you're comfortable getting it from.
Yeah.
True.
So
absolutely.
I do like the fact that it's something that's become less taboo to talk about. And I'm sure, you know, parents out there, any parents watching are gonna tell you, you know, you just need to have that open line of communication with your kids. It's for sex talk, it's for are you getting bullied? Are you getting enough help at school? It's for just communication.
Communication is key.
Everything.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that was our talk on sex. So if you're a young kid and you just saw that, go to your parent and discuss it with them. You know, we're not your parents or anything like that. Like without a doubt, we there's a lot better people you can invite or get advice from.
Yeah. And don't feel weird to ask your parents about sex. If you ever feel weird, just think about the fact that they had enough of it to have you, and so they have some information.
Yeah, they have some type of knowledge.
That's where babies come from?
Yeah. So that is it.
Mind blown.
All right.
Okay. So that was Eli Gavinci Raw's topic, sex.
Hey.
All right. So my topic, my last topic for the day,
hey.
A little more lighthearted.
Let's go out episode 10 with a bang.
We're not, I mean, this isn't a bang, but you're going to ease off on it, you know, is going to be, do music videos matter in terms of, like, does it make the song better? Does it help the song grow? Does it lessen? Does it hurt the song?
All right.
So are music videos important?
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, music videos in today's society, is it important? Let's begin. Haven't you ever heard the song? What is it, Alex? Music killed the radio.
Video killed the radio star.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was true because that won't like. All right, so play devil's advocate here, and I'm God, if they're gonna get mad at me, but it is what it is. MTV is like one of the most prime suspects for creating music television, and their whole premise was we're going to show music artists' creativity and their artistic side, which is their music video, which is the whole premise of music, you know. So that way, like if you go to Thriller or you go to Prince's music or you go to like Metallica or etc., as when they would paint this picture with their music, their lyrics, their vibrance and how they played the instruments and everything, and then they put it up on a video for you, it's like another way to express it more artistically. And you can even fast forward to modern time where you can even see like, you know, Kanye West and A$AP Rocky and a lot of different artists, even Billie Eilish, you know. Oh yeah, shout out
A$AP Rocky,
shout out A$AP. You know, Billie Eilish. Wait, did I pronounce it right?
I think it's Billie Eilish.
Eilish. For like her stuff, like her videos without a doubt do contribute to her music a lot more. Like here, it's very visual. So I mean, but then you have MTV once upon a time start this whole generation of like music videos and etc. And then you fast forward time, as soon as it got to the 80s and 90s, started becoming about TV shows, because it is a TV channel, and I understand that they want ratings, and that's what they're pulling for. And then from the 90s, it got into the 2000s was reality TV, was the big boom. God. And then before you know it, they would have an hour segment of music videos, and then everything else was reality TV.
Yep.
And then fast forward now, there's, from my understanding, absolutely no music videos on there anymore.
MTV's dead.
And it's literally called MTV. Music television. It's still considered music television, but it's reality TV and TV shows.
There's no music on there besides like soundtracks behind the TV show.
Exactly.
So I think that I don't think I've ever seen a music video that hurt the song. That I watched the music video and I was like, okay, I don't like the song anymore because I don't like the music video.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%.
So, like what
I mean, unless they did something wild where they did like, something that you can't come back from, like they murdered somebody on the set or something super wild and extravagant,
Yeah. But one thing that I saw, so Post Malone, I listen to Post Malone quite a bit, and he just released a song with Young Thug called Goodbyes.
Okay.
It was released like a few days ago, and it has a music video that goes with it, and the music video is like very well directed. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't, it fits the song so well, and it really adds like a new dimension to that song, that it makes me at least like appreciate it more. So like when I heard the song, and then usually what I do is if I hear a song and I like it, I'll go look it up on YouTube and see if there's a music video. If there is, I'll watch it. So like it just makes me appreciate the song more and see kind of like where the artist was trying to pull from,
where their mind was at when they were
exactly.
Okay.
Sure, and that's a good idea if you want that additional understanding of the song, or like what is this person picturing when they penned these lyrics or when they wrote this song,
exactly,
and kind of what were they visualizing. It's funny because I honestly haven't watched a ton of music videos. I don't consider them to be particularly vital. I do think that they can enhance a song,
without a doubt.
But I don't know that a music video could necessarily hurt the quality of a song.
Okay, go ahead.
Being a musician, I kind of consider the song itself to be the most important piece of media that band is doing, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah.
And if they can create a good music video to go with it, like the one band who I used to really like watching their music videos was Tool, because they did a lot of really cool claymation and things like that. So there's a lot of artistry in the videos themselves. But I found it to be kind of interesting because I thought, like, man, if this video was just, had different background music or something, I'd probably still watch it just because visually it's very appealing. The things that are going on are really cool looking. But I've never been super interested in the music video part. I think it's just because my brain, like, I just focus on the
actual musicry. The musicry of it.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think the song has to be good first.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have a bad song and a good music video.
Right. It's like building a mansion on a crappy foundation.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Well, because I was gonna say was that there's been times where, like, especially newer artists, and you can't blame them, they're new artists, but like the video is just complete trash, and the song was pretty cool. I'm like, all right, but then the video was just such garbage. I was just like, man. And it's not that it wasn't like poor quality, because you can't judge an artist based on quality, because sometimes they don't have the means to pay $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, $20,000, whatever dollars to be able just to shoot this high quality video. But what I mean is just the general direction of it was just so bad, had nothing to do with the song. They just threw stuff at the wall. Little sense right there. threw stuff at the wall until something stuck, and it said, all right, we'll just get that, shoot that, put it together, and voila, music video, enjoy. Like that to me is just like terrible artistry. You know, if you don't feel like you're ready for it, or even have like a sense of direction at least, I mean, you can literally go to a random place out in like downtown, wherever you live, and find a brick wall and stand in front of it and sing, rap, dance, whatever, and then put that music to it, and it'll make a 20 times better video than trying to do this little scene for scene type video you're doing, and it makes absolutely no sense or doesn't even correlate at least with your music, and it just makes it look like complete trash. Now, does it hurt the song? No, it doesn't, because like, you know, you're saying, it's sonically, you're listening to it sonically, you don't need it visually. But I think today, in today's market, the way the world is, because everything is dictated visually with stuff like this, especially like social media, your Instagrams, your Twitters, your YouTubes, it's so much easier just to be like, I'm gonna find my favorite song, Water Bottle. Oh, there it is. Hey, they have a music video, let me check it out. You know, and then you're actually looking for it specifically for that. Or you went to little insert name here, his music page on Instagram, and all it was is just him with like thumbs up in every single picture, and it's just no music at all. And so you're like, you know what, maybe I don't really like his music after all, and you went to somewhere else. Whereas at least if you had that, you know, you heard of music, but you wanted a visual to kind of get a general like, oh, this is the artistry of this artist now.
Yeah. So one other music video that I've watched that is very it's very visually appealing, because you just kind of don't know what's going on, is Lil Uzi Vert's EXO Tour Life music video. He has like, I don't know, it's really weird. He has like a super weird color filter over the whole thing. The scenes don't really make a lot of sense. There's like Arabic captions like built into the music video.
Oh, so it's not like some foreign country made this video and then, you know,
No,
like they said it's his video,
but
but
it there.
Oh, so it's generally his.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's just like a super weird video, but it kind of just like pulls you in, and like, I don't know. It's like, that's what he wanted to do with his music video. He was like, hey, this song, you know, it got me thinking this kind of way, so I'm going to put it into a music video. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like I only do it for artists that I like. So like,
so let's say like this is a new kid you never heard of.
Yeah.
And he's like, check out my video, and then something like that. You may be a little turned off from it.
Yeah, I may be like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, here, let me hear the song first. I'll listen to it like on the car ride home or something. And if I like it, then I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go check out the video.
Right. If it's a new person, they haven't earned the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
Yet, I guess.
Yes.
They haven't earned that reputation yet.
So yeah, I mean, and it's a funny thing, because you kind of think like, how many music videos have been made that it's like, okay, yeah, you did that, good job, it's done, but you didn't have to. True. Maybe especially on ones where, like you were saying, you know, some of them just get ridiculously half-assed, or have absolutely no message, or or no relevance to the original song that they're tying it to. It's like, why didn't you just save your money and save your time and
and then
go
let people
write another song?
Yeah, let people enjoy it sonically. All right, gentlemen, that is it. Would you like to use your 5?
No, I'm not gonna use
I'm
my
okay.
5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that
All right, quick episode.
that's
this
it.
time.
Yeah.
Nobody used their 5 minutes.
That's a big change from the last
I
one.
know,
That was a big change. We went opposite ends of the spectrum there. All right, so we're gonna recap over the topics real quick. So my first one was, should illegal immigrants be treated as criminals? We went to Alex Busta's, which is Nike, Colin Kaepernick, Doug Ducey, whole debacle.
Yes, indeed.
And then we went to Eli Gavinci Raw's with sex.
Hey.
And then we went back to me for music videos.
And we even sang a little bit for sex, you know, so kind of worked out.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, good job.
A little karaoke session.
Yeah.
Hey, you can edit that in post.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll insert the real song right there and say that was us.
There you go.
All right, so I think that's it, guys.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
That's
And without a doubt, everyone, please comment, like, subscribe, turn on the little notification bell that's down there, and then also too, We really appreciate you guys coming out, and especially being with us with this milestone of 10 episodes. We actually got to 10.
Yeah,
Two
we
Couch
did.
Talk made it 10.
We did. It seemed like a very far out, like a far reach of long distance goal.
And here we are, and it just seemed like that now.
I know, it flew by.
It flew by.
I can't believe it's already been 10
and
episodes.
without a doubt, you guys have yourself a great day. All our social media will be down in the comments below.
Yep.
And take us out.
We'll see you
Mannche?
next time.
Yes, sir. We'll see you guys next week for episode 11.
11. Hey, double digits, ladies and gentlemen.
Double digits. Yep. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.
All right.
Like Gavinci Raw said, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it with your friends, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
All right, peace.